Have I made a mistake? Oh my god, I feel like this is quite painful. I'm really nervous. The adrenaline is pumping. What have I done to myself?
And then 2 weeks later, quite often you are like,
Oh, what a good idea that was. Yes, I'll tell all my friends to have it done because yes.
hello beautifuls, welcome back to my Chanel. So do I have a question for you today, my lovelies? So, last week I was DM'd on Instagram and someone asked me, do I regret my lip fillers? Now before I answer that question, I'm actually going to take us back on a journey, the journey I have had with my face over the last few years. Before I get into the video today, my lovelies, I do want to say that there will be a Christmas Eve live stream here on YouTube on my channel. We're going to have a little Christmas party, as I know you guys could do with some little bit of Christmas joy. So could I after entering London Lockdown 3.0, girls. The link to the live stream will be in the description box below, and hopefully it will also be in your subscription feeds, and I will also be promoting it all over Instagram, you gorgeous people. Without further ado, let's continue. So if you didn't know, I am transgender and I do suffer with dysphoria. The majority of the dysphoria in my life comes directly from this part here, my face. Now, being a YouTuber, being a makeup artist, and being generally in the beauty industry, your face is worth a lot of money. And actually it's where I seem to have spent most of my time focusing my energy and my talent, shall we say? So being a YouTuber, I do actually spend a lot of time looking directly at my face.
Into my own soul.
Especially in Premiere Pro. We love a Premiere Pro queen. My journey over the last 10 years has been to try and reduce the dysphoria in my face as much as possible. I have had my hairline reconstructed through an FUT hair transplant surgery. I already have videos on my channel about that, but today I'm going to be focusing on this part of my body. So over the last sort of 5 years or so, I've also been having like a weight journey, mainly gaining it and now suddenly trying to claw it back to some sort of sensible weight that I am happy with. But in doing that, I actually began to focus a lot on my lips and what it means to have feminine lips in this modern society we call the 21st century. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures and a little bit of video footage from when I actually had my lips in their natural state, shall we say, and afterwards when I actually had them augmented. And I really like that word because it is actually a great way to describe what I've had done to my lips. Back in 2017, I decided that I wanted to do something with my face that was relatively fast and easy to feminize. So I went to a facial and dental esthetician in my local area, that is Southwest London, and I ended up finding Aura Dental and Dr. Nadine Skip. Now, Dr. Nadine Skip actually became one of my really good friends after this. So you create a certain bond with people when you start talking about like beauty treatments and beauty routines, especially when it comes to the more procedural procedures, shall we say. Things that aren't just going to your drugstore and purchasing things like that. Treatments, shall we say. Treatments. So actually, I went to Dr. Nadine Skip to have my nasolabial folds filled in, and they are pretty much permanently altered forever in the best possible sense. I feel like this area of my face has become a lot more feminine. What is this I have on my hand? Is that lipstick? How did that happen? And during my consultation about filling in my nasolabial folds and what we were going to do with them and how much it would take and how much it would cost, I actually broached the area of lip fillers. Now, I hadn't really considered lip fillers before actually speaking to Dr. Skip about it. I just sort of thought lip fillers aren't going to be necessary for me. But then I remembered Sinestra talking about the distance between your lip and your nose indicating a femininity, and that the shorter the gap is between here and here, actually the more feminine your face appears. Now, I wear a septum ring, and my septum ring kind of detracts from the length of my top lip. So my philtrum length is actually in the sort of androgynous range. Everything about my body seems to be in the androgynous range, neither here nor there, up nor down, left nor right. So I decided to go for lip fillers with her because I thought, you know, instead of actually getting a full-on lip lift, which is a surgical procedure that requires extreme amount of downtime, I thought, why not do something a little bit less permanent to see if I actually like that look first of all. Little did I know, 3 years later, I'm still sitting here with those exact same lip fillers. Granted, they have reduced in size, but as you can see from before and after and now, I still have remnants of my lip fillers. So Dr. Skip asked me if I wanted Juvederm Ultra 3 or Juvederm Ultra 4, which is a type of lip filler that already has lidocaine built in, 3 being slightly thinner in texture than 4 giving the most plumping you can possibly get from the Juvederm range. Well, it was back at that time. It might be a little bit different now. I haven't quite kept up with the lip filling world, shall we say, except in my botched series. So when I had my consultation for my lip fillers, I actually had a few things that I wanted to even out with my lips. It wasn't just that I wanted to change the shape or increase the size. I actually wanted to fix some wonkiness and also make my lips a lot more feminine in appearance. Now, when you think of lip fillers, sometimes you necessarily think of like the real duck pout, the real ones where it's just like a fat lip on the top and on the bottom. Oh my actual... Now that wasn't what I wanted to go for. What I wanted to go for was almost like my lips, but a bit more enhanced and a bit more evened to fit with my face. If you do not plan your treatments, somebody else will plan them for you. And that might not necessarily be your perfect idea of what you want the outcome to be. We spoke about my Vermilion Border, which is where the colour of your lip meets the colour of your skin, and how mine was kind of like a bit off-centre like this. In fact, actually might be the other way around. I look at myself in mirrors and it's all reflected and I get very confused about what I'm actually talking about. So I believe that my lips were a little bit more like this naturally. So we had to like combat that by putting more in one side than in the other, and then 2 little beads in the bottom here. So she went in this way with the needle and did the Vermilion Border and then tucked a little bit in the middle here to like push out my lip to create that uplift that I really wanted. And then she only put 2 beads right in the center down here of my lip in order to make the bottom lip kind of match a little bit with the top lip. If I remember correctly, I had 2/3 of 1 ml in the top and the other third of the ml in the bottom lip. So I had 1 milliliter of Juvederm Ultra 4 filler in my lips. I paid about £300 for this, and now I do realise that that is, you know, a little bit of a premium for lip fillers, but this was the first time I'd ever had lip fillers, and I wanted to go to someone who knew what they were doing, who I could really trust with an excellent bank of work. So I wasn't too fussed about paying that little bit extra to have the kind of outcome that I wanted. For me, the only area I spend a lot of money on is my face and the outcome that I want, because to me it's incredibly important to have it presented exactly how I want it. That's why I've spent so long in my life obsessing over makeup styles and how to literally transform your face. And I didn't take any Novocaine or any sort of like numbing gel or anything with me. It just literally went straight from nothing to something. The way that the Juvederm Ultra line works is because they have lidocaine built into the formula. After the first sort of like few injections, your lips start to go quite numb, and it allows your practitioner to really get into the areas that it needs to go in without causing a huge amount of pain for you. Because, spoiler alert, all these procedures, all these surgeons, all these surgeries, all these treatments that are a little bit more than just buying something over the counter can actually be quite painful. If you've ever had a tattoo or you've ever been waxed, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say this level of pain. Sometimes it can be more sharp and to the point, and sometimes it can be like a prolonged ache. When it comes to having fillers in the face, it is definitely much more sharp. Now, if you don't get a Novocaine, or you don't get a numbing cream, or you don't get any sort of numbing treatment at all, having your lips filled can be actually quite painful. And that's one of the things that actually sold me on Juvederm Ultra, because I was like, I want to kind of minimize this pain as much as possible, especially as it's something I've not necessarily had before. And spoiler alert, your lips are a really sensitive part of your body. Now, this is where it comes to like the fun part of having some filler done. When you first get your lips filled, my goodness, does it feel insane. Over the next sort of like few hours to a few days, you actually get swelling on top of the new filler in your lips. So you literally have like lips almost like a size and a half bigger than what they will eventually settle down as. And it can take 2 weeks for them to settle down. And I remember Dr. Skip telling me that if I liked the look that they had when they were really swollen, I should go back and get a top up at some point in the future. For me, they were almost a little bit verging on a little bit too big at first. And I was a bit like, have I had a little bit too much put in? I just don't know. But I'm so glad that I didn't panic, because when it comes to things like surgeries and procedures, you always need to leave that little bit of time to see the finished effect. For me, that was about 2 weeks. When it comes to lip fillers, you are always going to have a little bit of downtime and a little bit of bruising. And always it is a good idea to use like a moisturizer or a lip balm that's quite moisturizing in order to keep your fresh lips fully hydrated. Interestingly enough, when it comes to lip fillers, you will find that when you are dehydrated, your lips will shrink, and that is because the main component of lip filler is something called hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid is incredibly hydrophilic and will hold on to water. So if you are not drinking enough water, you will find that your filler starts to look a little bit fillery and doesn't have that plumpness that you would expect. This adventure with lip filler was one of the best little ways that I managed to feminize my face at a kind of like a fraction of the cost of what a surgery would be. I am incredibly happy with how my lips have turned out. And even now, 3 years later nearly, I mean, it's only like 2 months off of 3 years, I can still feel this filler in my body. So this is where it kind of like will be really personalized experience to you if you are considering to get lip fillers, because this kind of just shows that my metabolism is absolutely dirt poor. My metabolism is so slow. It might as well be a literal turtle gnawing at an entire moor's worth of grass, because nothing seems to happen with my body. These lip fillers are advertised at lasting between 6 to 9 months. Shows you that 3 years later, and I can still feel some of my filler on the outer edge of my lips and in the center of the bottom. Shows you that, like, my metabolism is really not that great. She's not going to win any races here, sis.
Absolutely not.
When it comes to getting surgeries or procedures, when you are having it done, there is always that creeping in feeling of like,
have I made a mistake? Oh my god, I feel like this is quite painful. I'm really nervous. The adrenaline is pumping. What have I done to myself?
And then 2 weeks later, quite often you are like,
Oh, what a good idea that was. Yes, I'll tell all my friends to have it done because yes.
why be sad about your lip shape or size when it's so easy to just have a little filler and correct it? I must admit, it's one of those things where it's like, it's incredibly addicting to get filler and things like that, because you are doing almost something quite small at a fraction of a cost, but having like legible changes to your face, and what you see in the mirror becomes a little bit more pleasing to you. So I can totally understand how people can easily become addicted to this sort of thing. You've got to accept that in this world, there are things that can be done and there are things that absolutely cannot be done. Like, at the end of the day, your practitioner is not a witch or a wizard or a magician. They are just a practitioner. That doesn't mean that they can't do amazing things. It's just that you have to always keep your expectations held within reality. And the way to get your expectations met is to really ask lots of questions to actually know what it is that you want with your filler. For example, don't go to a lip filling clinic and just go,
I want my lips filled, girls. Yeah, just make them bigger. Yeah, just do whatever you want. Yeah, make them bigger.
there is nothing worse than, as a person who works in the beauty industry, just hearing, do what you want, because it's like, well, if I do what I want, you might not like the outcome, and then you'll be like, well, why did you do that? And you'll be like, well, you told me I could do whatever I wanted. What do you mean you don't want?
Devil lip fillers.
I'm sure you know exactly what I mean, guys and girls and non-binary pals. So to answer the question that is posed in the title of this video, and to you, that little Instagram DMer, I 100% do not regret my lip fillers. So another question you could ask me is, would I get it done again? And you know what? I was thinking, after all of, you know, the lockdowns and everything that is happening currently around the world, I would love to have my lips done again. I don't know if I would get another full mil. I would probably just get half a mil, just to touch up a little bit of the center here, because I want to concentrate on my volume in the center. I don't really think that having volume out here is really going to suit my face very much, but having like that little pinch is such a beautifully classic little bit of something to just bring a bit of joy to my life. If you are going to take anything away from this video, take what I usually say with my other videos, especially when you can see any of my botched fillers or botched surgery videos. You get what you pay for and go in with an idea. Don't necessarily expect something to be perfect, but always do your research. Oh, I've got to say happy birthday to Princess Soyeon, you absolute stunning woman on the game. And I know everybody is going to be asking me what lipstick I am wearing. It is by CRT London, and it is a liquid matte lipstick, glitter flip holographic in the shade Scandal, just a bright red. And every time you pop your lips, they become more glittery. Today's Instagram shout out goes to Gabby_B1106. Thank you so much for following me over on Instagram, you absolute stunning woman. And if you want a chance to be featured in my next video's Instagram shout out, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. The link is in the description below. And once again, a massive, gigantic thank you to all my Patreons you can see on the screen here. You make my dreams possible by providing support to the channel and helping us grow, girls. Yes, girls. And once again, a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons and channel members, Me Gusta La Goose, Erin Conkle, and Morrigan E. Wolf. I hope you don't mind this little bit of a different content from me today. I was just literally wanted to update you on what's going on in my life and what I'm thinking about currently with so much time on my hands, my god. Thanks for watching, my lovelies. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.